sometimes it'd be 5, 6, 7 days, and then someone would finally call us and be like, hey, I saw this suspicious person or this suspicious vehicle, or, and by that time, if there's no footage or anything else, then it's really hard for us at that point to determine if there was any crimes committed.
Welcome to Connected Conversations, the official podcast of Kosciusko Connect. Kosciusko Connect is a subsidiary of Kosciusko REMC. Since 2021, we have been providing fast, reliable, fiber-to-the-home internet service to rural portions of northern Indiana. On Connected Conversations, we talk about fiber internet, technology, community, and how to navigate the digital world in which we live. I am your host, Laura Sini. Thank you for connecting with us today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connected Conversations. Today, we are going to be talking to local law enforcement here in Kosciusko County about the value of home security cameras. Kosciusko Connect now offers Arlo security camera packages and installation along with our internet services. Our guest today is Sergeant Doug Light with the Kosciusko County Sheriff's Department.
Good
Hello,
morning.
Doug. How are you doing today?
We are doing very well.
Great to hear. Thank you for coming and talking to us today. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in the Kosciusko County Sheriff's Department?
Yeah, thank you. So my official title is Public Information Officer. So I deal with the media, anything that involves a news release or speaking with the media. Also in charge of our school resource officers, supervise 4 of them. Our quartermaster, my responsibility to keep everybody looking sharp in uniform. And I always joke that the sheriff always has a right-hand man. So I always say that I'm kind of like the pinky toe on his left foot. So not quite his right-hand man, but I do answer to him and do a lot of things that he needs done as well. So, but yeah, been in law enforcement for about 30 years. And yeah, we're almost nearing the end of my career. See how it goes.
30 years is a long time for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, thank you for your serving our community in that way for 30 years. Can you give us the highlights of what the Kosciusko County Sheriff's Department does in our community on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so a lot of things that people don't realize is really how big of an operation the Sheriff's Department is. The Sheriff's Office alone has about 130 employees. Most people would just assume that they see us out driving around, the patrol units, and that is a big part of it. But we also manage the jail. So our jail can, at a high capacity, hold 305 inmates. We're really down quite a bit. So we hover between probably 170 and 180 with our inmate population. We also have work release. Usually has about 75 out at work release. We also do all civil processing. Big operation, 24/7, 365, out doing our thing. So busy.
It definitely sounds like you guys stay busy. What would you say out of each of those branches that you listed? What is like the most challenging aspect of what you guys do?
There is no pause button for us. So it doesn't matter what's happening, what's going on. It is full steam ahead every day. And just to manage everything, which is ultimately the sheriff's responsibility, but, to sometimes step back and just watch it happen. And it is really neat to see just how you can have something that involves so many people, keeping it moving forward on a daily basis. And it takes a great team of people to do that. I mean, we couldn't be really any prouder than all our employees and what they do every day to make it happen.
That's amazing. What are some of the most common security concerns homeowners in our community face from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's just protecting their property, so probably some of the most common things, probably theft, burglary theft, criminal mischiefs, probably some residential entry stuff in there. Really just really protecting what is theirs, I think is probably the most common.
That makes sense. From your experience, how do home security cameras help law enforcement in solving crimes? Do they help?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you look back when I started in 1995, I mean, we didn't even have cell phones yet. That was, just on the cutting edge of technology. And, here we are, 2025, we have in-car computers and We have a state-of-the-art 911 dispatch center. Everything is almost paperless now. Yeah, so when we're, talking about home security and technology, I mean, it's a huge help because, before it was eyewitnesses, right? Interviewing people, what did you see, what happened, what went on. Now we're able to really capture that more so now, on some type of a security system platform. So yeah, very helpful. Gives you that timestamp. I mean, some of them are live feeds now, a lot of them. So get that live action of what's going on and what occurred. So definitely very helpful. One of the big things now that we see a lot of are the doorbell cameras people have. So we get something in a neighborhood, some type of crime, and that's one of the first things we look for. Talk with the victims, maybe some other people, but then we're also kind of looking house to house to see who may or may not have had a doorbell camera, right? They may have just caught something that can help us. So yeah, it's really, really involved over the years, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure over the course of 30 years, the advancement in technology has been crazy to watch. What are some of the most common crimes that home security cameras help deter?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to probably the theft and the burglaries and vandalism. That's the biggest things, I think. Just that itself, you want that to be the deterrent, right? People see the camera. So yeah, I mean, those are probably the big things, but they may capture a vehicle accident that occurred on a road, or they may capture something that could be domestic violence or something else that occurred as well. So it's a pretty broad thing.
Yeah, so even though you have a home security camera to protect your house, you can also provide protection to those surrounding you, your neighbors and stuff, and even on the road, because your cameras can catch things that are going on all around in the area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is pretty incredible. How do security cameras compare to other home security measures like alarm systems or neighborhood watch programs?
Well, I really think they go hand in hand. I don't think you really put one over the other. I think they all complement each other. If you live in a subdivision or neighborhood, I think it's important to communicate with your neighbors. It's everybody looking out for each other. Same with door alarms as well. The video aspect on top of it. So I don't think one's probably more important than the other, but I do really think that they all work hand in hand with each other.
That makes sense. How should homeowners handle footage that captures potential criminal activity?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of different systems out there. So the first thing you probably want to look at is whatever system you have, how long will it store footage? Do you have a backup? Is it on a cloud? Can you edit it? Especially in this video age, the smaller the file that you can send us is better for us, just for the storage aspect of it. So if you're able to have the ability to edit the video, would be helpful. So catching, maybe prior to it happening, obviously what happened, and then a little bit after. If you're able to cut that down instead of just saying, oh, well, I can only send you the last hour. Well, we don't want to look through 57 minutes of nothing to get to that 3-minute important part. So yeah, if you have that ability to edit it, again, just make sure you have a backup, make sure you know how long it'll store. All that's pretty helpful. That way, when you send us, whether you do it on a thumb drive or send it to us via email to the detectives or investigators, it's just easy for us to manage that way.
That makes sense. You don't want to have to dig through 3 hours of footage to find the 3 seconds that you need. How has technology changed the way law enforcement approaches home security? And you've talked about this a little bit already.
Yeah, it's easy with technology to maybe think it makes your job easier, but I think at the end of the day, we don't want to really give up on doing just good old-fashioned police work. All this stuff is very helpful to us, but at the end of the day, there's still those physical pieces of evidence that are just as important as, a piece of video footage. So for us to still walk around the house, you look for a footprint, to dust for fingerprints, to look for any type of other physical evidence, I think is just as important as the video part of it. But the video part of it is very helpful as well, because you can get that vehicle description or that clothing description or that gender or that height. All that's important as well. But to interview a witness, take that step as well is important. So yeah, just finding that balance between, being able to utilize the technology, but just still doing good police work. Kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Cameras aren't a replacement for good police work, but they aid a lot
for sure.
And help for sure. Out of curiosity, have you had any run-ins or do you have any fears as AI kind of evolves and people's ability to manipulate footage and stuff increases, do you see that as a complication in the future, or is manipulated footage you can still easily like call it out and tell what it is?
That is a great question. And I don't know that I have the best answer for you. I can't give you any specifics on any situations where we've had anything like that.
Hmm.
Not to say that that couldn't be someday. For everything that could be used for good, somehow people tend to use it for bad. So the likelihood of what you just explained happening is probably going to happen. And it kind of always seems like things trend, whether they're scams or drug related trends or, something like you described here with AI. It seems like initially we're kind of behind and there's kind of like this little bit of a learning curve, the ability for us to catch up to it a little bit in law enforcement. But I would be silly to sit here and say that we're probably not going to experience that either.
That makes sense. Technology changing and AI evolving is changing stuff for everyone in every single career path and industry. So it makes sense it would affect yours as well. What advice would you give to someone considering investing in a security camera system for their home?
Number one, just do your research. Just here in the county, we have some really good businesses that do home security. To me, those are the experts, and I would really lean on them. It's easy to be able to jump on the internet and know, hey, I can get a 6-piece security system, and it says that I can install it myself, and life will be good. And maybe you can. Maybe you're really good at that. But yeah, I would look at really leaning on the professionals because they're going to know really about camera placement. They're going to understand. We talked about the storage and the editing and if they're using cloud storage, for people kind of like me that struggle with that, the simpler it can be, for those purposes, the better. So yeah, just do your homework, see what other people are using. But my biggest thing with, just sometimes we get caught up in price, and I'm not saying that stuff off the internet is bad, but to me, I would probably pay a little bit more to have somebody professional really look at my property. That way I can explain to them what will make me comfortable, and they can maybe put a package together that way.
Yeah, and that's what we try to provide at Kosciusko Connect is when people buy our security camera packages, we send someone out to install those cameras for them and talk to them about how it works and talk to them about where they want their cameras and what's important for them to see and to protect. And with Arlo, all the footage is stored for 30 days. So you have 30 days worth of footage stored on the cloud at all times that you can access, you can download easily. So, and we've heard from some of our customers, they've tried before to buy their own security cameras and thinking installation would be easy, and it wasn't so easy, and that turned into a huge obstacle. So having someone like a professional from Kosciusko Connect come out and install those cameras really helps, and you can really make sure everything is set up correctly in the way you want. So we have seen that on our side of things too. Do you see what are like common mistakes that people make when it comes to home security, whether that be cameras or other things?
Well, number one, it goes just back to locking your doors and windows. And that's step number one. If you have to park your car outside, again, just lock your car. Sometimes I think we almost make it too easy for the criminals, and we don't lock things up. One thing that I did last fall at my property was I contacted REMC and I said, hey, you guys put these security lights up. And they're like, yeah, and very helpful. They came out, put a security camera up. I think it's between $8 or $9 a month. It's at the end of my driveway, and it just lights up that portion of my property. So again, good lighting is important. Whether you want to use lights that stay on or dusk to dawn or motion sensor, but yeah, just having good lighting, keeping things locked up. And probably one of the biggest things is sometimes people wait. Something suspicious happens or they see something, because we're all creatures of habit. So, no matter where you live, everything really almost on a pattern. Like every day I drive to work, because I take sometimes that same route, you always run into the same cars or always run into the same school bus. So we know what belongs and what doesn't belong. If something doesn't belong, you gotta let us know. Right. And sometimes it'd be 5, 6, 7 days, and then someone will finally call us and be like, hey, I saw this suspicious person or this suspicious vehicle, or, and by that time, if there's no footage or anything else, then it's really hard for us at that point to determine if there was any crimes committed. So if you see something, just call. I think sometimes people think it's to bother, but it's not. I mean, that's what we're here for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can call any time of day, day or night, and if it's something suspicious, and if it's just us doing a drive-by or checking the area or whatever, that's what we're here for. So yeah, a lot of times people just wait too long. So yeah, we just urge them to call and to let us know. Even if you're on vacation, call in to dispatch. Say, hey, we're gonna be out of town from this date to this date. If you have officers drive by, we're happy to do that.
That's great to hear that you guys offer that, because I think a lot of people would find that helpful. What else do you wish people in the community knew about the Sheriff's Department?
Well, since Sheriff Smith got elected, we really tried to be approachable. We do a lot of community events. He has an open door policy. He's really tried to engage with the public and the community, and we really want people not to hesitate to contact us, good, bad, or indifferent, with the concerns. And really by us doing a lot of these public appearances gives people that opportunity to come up to us. And, we're out at the Home and Garden Show where I saw you. And, and it's just nice to talk to people. And we probably had 3 or 4 people that came up and kind of had a speeding concern in certain areas of the county. And so I think it's sometimes a little bit easier for them to approach this place like that and coming into the actual sheriff's office. But yeah, just to talk to them and get some information and get some feedback, listening to what they have to say. That's really what it's all about. But we have some tremendous men and women that do a phenomenal job every day at the sheriff's office. From our dispatchers, who are really the true first responders, they're the ones that are taking that initial call. Everybody plays such an important role to really make it work, day in and day out. So we're here to serve the public. Yeah, if you need to reach out to us, please do. Every day is different, but like I said, it doesn't stop. Right now we probably average 1,600 calls a month.
Wow.
And in the summertime, really from Memorial Day to Labor Day is when it's really busy, and we'll get up over 2,000 calls a month.
That's a lot of calls.
Yeah, so
to handle.
Yeah, but great agencies, great officers throughout the county. Work well with all of them. They help us. We help them. We have a big county, 540 square miles of county to cover. It's a lot, but somehow we get it done.
Yes, and you do a very good job of it. Do you have a favorite community event or community outreach activity that you guys do?
Yeah, we do so many. Probably one that's near and dear to my heart is always it's in September. I don't know the exact date, but it's Family Safety Day in Warsaw. Wayne Township Fire Department is the organizer of the event, and that's always one of my favorites down at Central Park. And but we do a lot of parades. We're always out at our county fair. Yeah, we really try to really just do a lot of events and get out there and engage with the community.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great that you guys are so involved in our community. We really appreciate what the sheriff's office does for our community. Your team obviously is doing a fantastic job, and they're managing quite a lot. So thank you for coming out and talking to us today, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day.
I will. You too. Thanks for having me.
If you would like to learn more about Arlo security cameras or have Arlo cameras installed by Kosciusko Connect, call 574-269-0327, and our Kosciusko Connect team will be happy to assist you. You have been listening to Connected Conversations, the official podcast of Kosciusko Connect. From all of us at Kosciusko Connect, thank you for connecting with us today.